Morning. Love does. This one is called The Puppeteer. I used to be afraid that if I was authentic, I might take a hit. Authentic is like real, who I am. But now I know that being real means I will take hits. When the kids were growing up, I used to pass by a fancy art gallery pretty often. I'd always glance in and admire the handiwork of some very talented people. One day, as I walked past, I saw the most magnificent painting I'd ever seen before hanging on the wall. It was called The Puppeteer. Now, I'm no art collector, that's for sure, but it looked like a pretty cool painting to me. I squished my nose against the window each time I passed by the gallery and mouthed the words against the glass. Yes, you will be mine. The Puppeteer is an oil painting of an old guy with his family gathered around, and he's dangling a marionette from strings, making everybody laugh. He looks like he's telling everybody a great story. I liked the painting because I've always imagined myself kind of like a puppeteer with my kids and their children gathered around someday. The painting also reminds me of how Jesus invites us to gather around him as he tells captivating stories about a better life, a bigger life, and his great love. I asked the guy at the gallery how much the painting was. He started giving me a sales pitch in a muddled accent, and it was hard to follow what he was saying. He told me that it's not called a painting, it's called a piece. I guess they changed the name when something is that expensive. Whatever. According to him, the guy who created the painting was an 80-year-old master painter from Europe. I looked him up and knew that that was true. The sales guy also told me that the artist had been going blind. Yeah, sure. He was laying it on pretty thick. He said something about the artist painting this piece with a special paintbrush. I was basically waiting for him to say that the paintbrush was made from a single hair from the tail of a unicorn. I get it. It's a really nice painting, which at least explains why it cost more than my first 4 cars. Still, I wanted that painting more than I wanted food, and so I started saving. It took me a year to save the money. For the final bit, I was ready to put our family dog up on eBay, but after a family meeting, that idea got shut down. No matter, I finally called the guy at the gallery and told him that I'd be coming up to pick up the painting that afternoon. When I walked into the gallery, there were 2 paintings waiting for me. 2 exact paintings of the Puppeteer. I didn't understand. Why are there 2 paintings? I asked the guy with his muddled accent. Well, he said, managing with absolute ease to sound condescending and slick. The one on the left is the real one. It's museum quality. Very expensive. Priceless. You don't want to hang the original where it might get damaged. So if they put the original in the vault, this is the other one to hang on the wall, he said as he slapped the identical painting irreverently, is the fake one and is the one you put on the wall for everyone to see. I get a fake one along with my original? I asked. I never even heard of such a thing. Yes, he shot back. Well, let me ask you, dear reader, which of the 2 paintings would you have put on your wall? I hung the real one, and I threw the fake in some closet somewhere. I get why the guy at the gallery wanted me to hang the fake one and hide the real one to keep it safe. If the original was put out and damaged, it'd be a huge loss. This was original art from a master artist who was not long for this earth. It was rare, one of a kind, irreplaceable. Now, if you come over to the Goff house, come armed. We have incredible rubber band wars. Not the paper route, elementary school kind of rubber band wars. Oh no, we go straight nuclear and no one is safe. When the kids stretch a rubber band a foot or so, it can raise a welt the size of a strawberry if you get hit. I start every morning sitting in a certain chair at my house. It's straight opposite from where I hung the original Puppeteer painting. I love starting off my day with a cup of tea, a small fire, seeing my friend the Puppeteer delighting his family. Through the divided light windows, I catch the sun coming up over the water, and the colors seem too beautiful to be real. 2 windows perfectly frame the Puppeteer painting that invites onlookers to see what appears to be his next show, which is just about to start. When I look at the puppeteer, it reminded me of what the future looks like for me. It reminds me of what is valuable in life. It reminds me of stories like the kind that Jesus told. And I think about how much I love that it's the original hanging on my wall, not that fake one. I woke up one morning a while ago, poured my tea, lit a small fire, took in the beauty of the pre-dawn colors draping over the bay as I took my usual morning spot. As I lifted my eyes towards my puppeteer, ready to wish a good morning to my friend, my jaw dropped. The night before, as best I could tell, the puppeteer had taken a rubber band straight to his face. Now, I'm not kidding. There was a mark right in the middle of his almost priceless forehead. I gasped. I spilled my tea on myself and I sprang from my chair to get a closer look. Indeed, the puppeteer had taken a headshot. To his credit, the puppeteer didn't drop the puppet even though he was probably mortally wounded. Now, my kids say they didn't do it, and they think it was my rubber band that took the puppeteer out. But I've sent the painting off to the FBI crime lab, and it was definitely my kids. At least, that's my story. It's been a while since the puppeteer took a hit, but I still enjoy my morning routine. I still sit in my favorite chair every morning, have tea, light my fire, watch the sunrise, take a look at my favorite piece of art, the original puppeteer painting. And I'm still taken by its beauty. Do you think I see the damage when I look at the puppeteer in the morning? Not at all. I'm not mad or disappointed in the least. The reason is simple. The rubber band mark reminds me fondly of my kids. I see my kids and the engaged life that we've spent together. I see their mischief, their whimsy, their spontaneous combustions. I see the kids lying in wait for me with their rubber bands pulled tight at the top of the stairs. Truth be known, I kind of like the original puppeteer painting now more with that rubber band mark. There have been times in my life when I've tried to do good, and it hasn't always worked out the way I thought. I've gotten into some mischief, taken chances, I've even taken some big risks. In the process, sometimes I've let people down, or things I've done didn't go well, and I've taken a rubber band or two to my head. And we all have. But after the puppeteer painting got shot, I realized something. God doesn't think any less of us when things don't go right in our life. Actually, I think he probably plans on it. What he doesn't plan on is us putting up a fake version of ourselves out there to get hit. God is a master artist. He made an original version of you, a priceless one that cost everything he has to create it, a version that can't and won't ever be created the same. He asks us to hang that version of ourselves for everyone to see. Despite our inherent beauty, each of us is tempted to hide the original so that we don't get damaged. I understand. I really do. The fake version of us, it's not worthless. It's just worth less because it's just a copy of the real us, a version that we really don't care about. When we hang the fake version out there, it's not the version that God created. In that sense, it's kind of like an imposter, a poser, a stunt double standing in for us and telling the world, this is the best we've got. When we put the cheap, fake version of ourselves out there, most of the time, it probably comes off to God like a bad Elvis impression. The Bible says people who are friends of God are new creations. The way I heard it, it's supposed to work that the old version of us, it goes away. The fake version is no more. A new original painting is created. I can understand that picture better now because I've purchased an expensive painting. I've also had a cheap copy thrown in so I could hide the real one. What I know now is that our infinite value, the original masterpiece that we are, is placed in front of us because God is the master, not us. The best we could muster ourselves would be very fake. God invites us to live out this new creation, our original art, and to live a life of engagement. He says to leave the cheap imitation, the insecurity, the thing that we're pretending to be in the closet, somewhere else. He doesn't say when you hang the real you, the priceless one, that things will go perfect or that you'll never be hurt. It's pretty clear from watching Jesus' followers, past, present, when you risk the real you take some hits. God did when he hung Jesus out there. He was original. He was real. And he got hit hard. But one thing I do know is this. When we do take those hits, and we will, God isn't going to think any less of us. Instead, he gets up in the morning, he lights his fire, he pours his tea, he sits in his very favorite chair, and he gazes down at you, the original masterpiece he made. And you know what? He loves us ever the more. Rubber band marks and all. A good reminder that a lot of times we try and be people that we aren't. We look to other people and we think that their talents or the way they do things is the way we want to be doing things. And God says, no, stop. Like, don't try to be someone you aren't. I created Sarah Penrod. And I want Sarah Penrod to be the beautiful, talented girl that I've created her to be. I don't want her to be somebody else. And I don't want Zach Schnepp to act like anyone but Zach. And I don't want Savannah to try and be this tougher person, or I don't want Ian to put on a persona that is different than who he is. I want him to act out who I made him to be. And sometimes you put yourself out there and the world rejects it. Sometimes you put yourself out there and the world says, that's godly, that's Christian. I don't want to be a part of that. And sometimes we're hurt, and sometimes we're rejected, and sometimes we're kicked to the curb. But God says, it's okay. Let me bandage that mark. Let me take care of that. You are my masterpiece. You are special. Why? Because I made you. Remember Eli and little Punchinello? I made you. It does not matter what anybody else thinks. Put yourself out there. Put the real you out there, not the fake you out there. Put the real one out there, and then grow in your security of knowing that this person, no matter what people think about it, feel about it, how they feel, it matters to God. And this is what God made me to be like. Those marks don't matter. The only thing that matters is that I love you, he says. You matter to me. I created you. So remember that today as you go throughout this time. It can be kind of a trying time of figuring out, a little bit of what life is like isolated. And I think there might be a really cool opportunity for us to go, wow, I've been trying to be like other people, or I've been trying to like things that other people like, or I've been putting aside the talents that I have to pursue things that are cool. Whoa, take the next few weeks to just go, wow, God, who do you want me to be? Who am I? Am I always being somebody that school wants me to be? Am I being something that my friends want me to be? I'm now isolated in my living room, God. Who am I? Tell me who I am. And I think we could all grow in that. Being like Punchinello, spend some time in the workshop, right? Go up there and say, these marks don't matter to me. The only thing that matters, God, is what you think of me. All right. Love you all.